let's just calm down. Not that we can't be upset about her death, but we got to stay focused. This is a distraction. I'm sorry that this woman is dead. And I got to make sure that the people who are in power that allow her to be killed in this way are unseated. And the only way I can do that in democracy is through voting.
Welcome back to another episode. This is episode number 4 of The Activist and The Expat. I am here in Southeast Asia, and my sister is in the belly of the beast living in America. And unless you've been hiding on the moon under a rock somewhere, America is full of headlines, and a tragedy happened last week with a protester. I guess it's fair to call her a protester, or whatever she was doing. She was shot in the face by an ICE agent officer. So I'm not there. I just saw it on the news. You talk about it. Your perspective.
I'm actually not surprised at all. So I have several perspectives. I think one, you could tell that white folks have been protected for a long time in the fight for freedom and liberation. They are grossly underprepared for the violence that law enforcement agencies or Border Patrol or ICE is willing to dole out. They are not used to that happening to them or people who look like them. They're used to that happening to Black and brown folks. We've all seen Black and brown folks be prostrate on the ground being beaten. And that has been normalized in this country. So this is where racism actually can benefit Black people, the over surveillance, because it gives you the experience of dealing with law enforcement. And so that she was just underprepared for the level of violence that the police and law enforcement agencies and other federal agencies are willing to dole out to American citizens. Because even Black and brown people are Americans, right? And they get beat and over policed and over surveilled all the time, thrown on the ground. And I just think that she didn't think that that was going to happen to her, because if she had had the fear that I have around law enforcement and police, she would just open that damn door or let them open the door. And I get it. I used to work for the Civil Rights, American Civil Liberties Union, all about know your rights and all of that. There's know your right, and then there's survive the encounter. You have rights, but the time and the place to argue those rights is not in the middle of the engagement with the agency. The time to argue those rights is in the courtroom, in the court of law. If they arrest you, well, first of all, ICE can't even arrest you. They don't have arresting capabilities on American citizens. They would have to detain you, call the FBI to come in and actually charge you. So they can't do nothing to you if you're an American. Even if they say, get out of the car, do all these things, yes, they may be violating your rights in the moment. But is the time to argue those rights right there? No. History has taught us, Black people, that the time to argue is not in the middle of the interaction, because you will die. And unfortunately, white America has come into the same consciousness that Black America has been in since the 50s, since the Jim Crow. You would have saw the setup. You would have noticed. See, you wouldn't even thought you had the privilege to not open the door when he said open the door. Do what do people say? I know that sounds like, oh my God, we're giving up our rights. No, because now she dead. What rights does she have dead? She don't got no more rights. They took them all. So you can have diminished rights or be dead. Or you can survive and organize so that you can begin to build a power that you need to change the regime. But now we got one less body on our side. And ICE is being celebrated and venerated on the other side. Like this man is now under protection. They have the GoFundMe for him and his family is up. And so, yes, and we feel horrific that Renee, I can't think of her last name, I think it's Good or Goodman, that Miss Renee had to lose her life trying to protect her neighbors. Because let's reframe what she was actually doing. She was not protesting. ICE was in her neighborhood. She was alerting her neighbors that ICE was present, and she was trying to track their movement so that she could alert the rest of her neighbors to keep her neighbors safe from ICE detention. And she ended up losing her life as a result of that. It's incredibly sad. It's incredibly tragic. So let me say this. In 2021, Andrew Brown here in North Carolina, Elizabeth City, Pasquotank County, out on the coast, was shot 4 times in the back of the head by the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Office. Exact same scenario. They're getting ready to serve a warrant. The officer walks in front of the car, right? Andrew, though, is backing up and going around the officer. But because the officer places himself as if like jumps in front of the car, he shoots the other officers begin shooting and shoot Andrew in the back of the head, because they thought that the officer was going to be harmed, like he was using the car as a weapon. The district attorney, Andrew Womble, at this time said that the vehicle The moment he started to drive the vehicle, the car became a weapon. And so Christy Nome used those exact same words about the vehicle became a weapon in that moment, right? And so this is just history repeating and regurgitating itself over and over again for Black and Brown communities. That is why we do have to study history. It's important because there is nothing, as King Solomon said, nothing new under the sun. These are just regurgitated strategies and tactics and talking points, and they use the same things over and over again. And the onus is on us to learn and to learn from. What do we learn from Renee's death? What do we learn? Yes, we should be making sure that our neighbors are safe, but we should also make sure that we're safe so that we can continue to make sure that our neighbors are safe. That is what is happening. And as a result of that, Minnesota is in an upheaval right now. Like they are going up with ICE every single day and every single night. And Portland is also under attack. And there are other places where ICE is, running rampant. And so, yeah, we need the monks that are here, the monks that are walking, the walk for peace, walking 2,500 miles from Texas to DC. We need these monks. The monks ain't never walked in America. This is because let me tell you why because this country is so divided, right? It is so divided that the monks walking for peace, not really talking, they're not asking for nothing. They're just walking. And they're walking from Texas to DC, and they're walking through the Jim Crow South on purpose because they understand that the turmoil in America, the root is in the South, and that all the branches of white supremacy and racism stem from the roots of the South. And so to us, them walking, which is something that they do, from what we're learning, this is something that they do in places where there is like civil unrest, civil wars, like it's really wars. And they've never done it in America because America has always been seen as like this beacon. And now them coming signals, y'all, nope. Right. And so I think the masses are becoming aware of like, we are so Christianized here in the South that there was some misunderstanding about what even Buddhist monks are, what they stand for, what they believe. And so they're in Georgia. So they came from Texas, they walked all the way, they came through Texas, all of that. They get to Alabama and it starts to like picking up like traction. People starting to hear about it. Alabama was cool. They get to Georgia and there were people protesting, Christians. Somebody, there's only one God but Jesus. So then everybody got upset. That pissed everybody off because people are like, these Christians are so they get on their nerves. Like, stop. These people they don't not believe in Jesus. They say, yeah, Jesus is great. And he should be peaceful and practice these practices, right? And so I think that they have unified a very divided South. The South has always been very divided along party lines. We see Republicans, Christians, we see white people, Black people. There's been no drama. People are standing side by side to get blessed, to be prayed for, because we don't have real leadership in this country. And it's sad that these monks walking have become our beacon of hope and who we look to for leadership. Because when they have people gathering at night and they are talking about peace and love, people are crying. They're talking about how comforting it is. Because, Tyler, we can't afford to live over here. People are living not even check to check, right? They living on buy now, pay later, right? Check to check. And so it's so unaffordable. It's so expensive. And no one is addressing it. And you got Trump talking about these $2,000 that's going to come out, but it ain't going to come out. These tariff rebates. And they're not going to come out to the end of 2026. So that done pissed people off because they thought they was getting this $2,000 in April when they filed their taxes. And now and so it feels like he backtracked. So people are becoming like increasingly angst about what is happening in this country. And I think that the larger consciousness is raising because I've even seen Republicans who are like, wait a minute, ICE should not be doing this to American citizens.